What's going on, everybody? Zach Finds Fish here. You might not be used to this setup. I mean, you might be from like this angle, but this is my streaming setup. When I was a Twitch streamer, I used this mic for a lot of my voiceovers, which you might be able to know from like my YouTube shorts. Super clear, really nice mic. But I want to do a recap today. So me and my buddies and my buddy's dad went to the Ultimate Fishing Show in Novi. And to be brutally honest, I didn't know what my expectations were for this show. There was boats there, jet skis there, a lot of stuff that like really I'm uninterested in because I can't fathom I'm owning one. So right now I'm just more or less looking at like the lures and the fishing rods and all that stuff. Well, they had that too. They had seminars. It was a blast. So I want to make a quick video of us or me going over what we did today. And I'll show you some of the stuff that I picked up today. Now, granted, okay, going to the show, you spend $12 for the ticket. You spend $10 for parking. However, some of the lures you find there, these are a lot of like probably wholesale people, like, or just state sale people. Like they just have like their own shops and then they just resell. But you found a lot of good things on sale. So before we get into that though, of showing what I got, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm talking to my buddy right now. We're actually texting back and forth. I was just telling him like I want to go back and get some more lures. It was a blast. So first things first, we start out. I'm just kind of doing a recap here, and then we're gonna go to the pictures. So we can go there right now. Actually, we'll go to the pictures. So starting out, if you're from the Midwest, this was in Novi, Michigan. Terrible storm rolling in. Terrible storm rolling in. We showed up around 1:30 before the storm actually hit, and 2 o'clock. I mean, it was just like snow, slush. I mean, it was bad. We left at like 6 o'clock, and I'm driving 25 miles per hour on a 50 mile per hour road. So it was really bad. I got lucky actually because I brought my other vehicle. That doesn't matter. But it was a lot of fun. Again, it was something I didn't know what to expect. You can watch the videos on it. It doesn't really showcase much. I'm not interested in boats. I'm not interested in jet skis. I'm not interested in John boats right now. I'm not interested in like the ATVs. I'm not interested really for the shanties, for ice fishing. That's just not what I'm in it for. So like today we went to seminars. We saw Mark Zona at the seminar, which was a lot of fun too. I have a little video of us watching him. He kind of makes a joke. It was just like, he was thanking us for being there. Also, like, we're all crazy for being here because of the weather and stuff. And he's talking about it was a good time. And so starting out, walking in, it was in the suburban showcase or showroom area. It was just like a big, like, convention center, really, just an open room for conventions. So, like, I go to auto shows. So it's just basically boats here. Jet skis here, shanties here, and then you have like the vendors and all that stuff. So this is just me walking in. I'm trying to just take some pictures. So this was me kind of walking in. You have your pontoons, you have your bass fishing boats, you have your jet skis, you have your kind of fun, like really crazy, like $250,000 like tugboat kind of style boats there. Walking through and just kind of taking a picture of just random stuff, just kind of getting some pictures for you guys too when I'm kind of walking around. So this was just the newspaper flyer thing that they were giving out. Yeah, and more jet skis or more pontoons. Also, my wife is texting me again. We're in the middle of a storm, so the wind is coming right now, and so we're talking about just losing power. I have the generator out, but that's not what you guys are here for. Again, this is vlog, not doing a lot of editing, but this is just me. This is what's happening in my life right now. We have a bad storm rolling in. Again, but pontoons weren't really what we were interested in. We did find this little mini pontoon. It was like a paddle pontoon. This was like $5,000, which was actually really cool because we were talking about the private lake that you guys, if you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below. Using this on the private lake, this would be perfect, but he kind of has that already, but this was actually really cool. Again, just big boats. This is a $130,000 boat, just out of my price range. My buddy Terry, you guys would probably recognize him from the videos, his dad. And then they had tanks, up. I'm sure they were kind of casting out to these tanks here. But the other one really was the tank. It was called Lake Ultimate, and it was just a big pool that they filled with trout, which was actually really cool. But I can't wait to see those bass on the end of my hook, man. Those are some big bass. But in this, what was really cool about this event, which I didn't expect, is the amount of vendors that were there, and they were selling everything for really good prices. So for example, here's a lure right here that looks like kind of like handmade. It's just a handmade lure for $5. I'm not interested in it, but it was kind of cool to see some like handmade lures and stuff. But this is what I picked up. So I actually picked up both of those lures right there. So I looked them up. I've never seen the cross-eyed chatterbait. Maybe you guys have. Let me know in the comments down below. But I picked these up for $4. I was kind of Googling and trying to see like chatterbaits for $4. These go for roughly around $8, $9. So I felt like that was a really good deal. So I picked up these so the white one is called the Shad Spawn. And then the red one is called the Fire Craw. So that's definitely those are two really cool ones as well. So I picked those up for $8.50. I mean, it was just a ton of spinnerbaits, just so many lures everywhere. I was kind of going on a kick of gold lures. I was like, I've never seen a gold lure before. This is actually a gold-plated lure. I was like, oh, I got to get it. But then I ended up getting the Booyah. I saw the Booyah buzzbait with the gold in the shimmer. It looks so good. I don't know. We'll see. But this is, to anybody watching this video and taking the time to get to this point in the video, I'm not going to make any titles for it. I'm not going to put it down in the info. But if you're watching this, this may be a giveaway. If we hit 1,000 subscribers before July, I may be giving this away. This is a gold-plated Counter-Strike buzz bait by Booyah, and it is called the Cortez Shad, if you want to look it up. Maybe doing a giveaway for this. I literally bought it because it looked cool. I want to keep it in the thing, but maybe we'll do a giveaway for that. Also, my buddy Terry did get me my tinfoil yums. I can't wait to use these as well. You know, ND Yak is one of my big influencers on fishing, and I saw him using them, and they look really cool. And bass eat anything, but I bet these work prime time in my honey hole of a pond that we always fish at, and you guys see a ton of times. Again, vendors had a bunch of stuff. This is $1 2-pack shads here, 2-pack holographics. These are actually pretty big. I don't even know if they're shad. They're like actual fish, but they had big piles of $1 boxes that you could go through. They also had some mystery bags. I was very tempted to get one or maybe two, but the only thing with that is my feeling for those is that 90% of those contents were probably around us. So I was like, those grab bags are cool. $3. You might get a lure that's $5, and maybe but there's just so much stuff in the area that, like, more or less what's in those grab bags are probably things that you could find just kind of walking around. You can just pick and choose. Maybe not for $3, but there's a lot of stuff there that you probably could. Again, we had some more just $2 missile baits. I mean, a lot of them too were just bulk. You could just tell that they found them at like wholesale or something really cheap, and they just had bins and bins of one color. Guggen Squad baits. I saw a lot of mixed messages in my comments in one of my videos. The plastics are kind of cheap. Some love them, some hate them, some hate just Guggen in general, some just hate Guggen in general. I'm indifferent. I'm not I don't know them, so I don't know their content really well. I know of them per se. I know some of the Guggen Squad. Excuse me. But I thought for $3 that was a great deal. I didn't get any, but I thought that was a great deal. Also, these worms. So these worms were huge. It doesn't really show how big they are. Maybe it does in the bag. I see Max Lure everywhere at Meyer, but I've not seen those yet. But those were huge worms, and I was like super tempted to get them just for like a fun video. But as of right now, I'm just trying to make some content for you guys to enjoy, and I think challenges and fun stuff like that will be a later date. Let me know in the comments though if you would use those worms. They were huge. They were big worms. And then from being from Michigan, the Motor City Minnow, I've never seen this company before, or this is what they use, or like this is the name of the worm. But I thought it was cool. They had some really cool colors. It was like purple and gold, kind of remind me of LSU colors. I'm not a sport fan really that crazy, but it just reminded me of LSU. It was very Mardi Gras looking, and there was just some really cool colors in there. Again, there was also some custom Rapala lures, which was actually custom multiple different style lures. But these are all custom painted, which I think is really cool. I wanted to get them, and obviously you're painting for the artistic like styling of it. It's something you'll never find anywhere else. But I could not buy a lure for $12. I couldn't do it. And they're just massive lures as well. This is Lake Ultimate. This was the ultimate, fishing show, and this was Lake Ultimate. So those are all just trout in there, and they would do the videos and seminars off those boats. They did a kayak one yesterday, so today is Saturday. right? Today's Saturday. No, Friday. Today's Friday. Yesterday on Thursday, they did a kayak seminar, which would have been cool, but we were planning for Saturday. So here's the venue. So this is us waiting for Mark Zona. I do have some pictures, and I also have some video we can sit and listen to them. Some of them are longer videos. Some of them are just kind of short snippets. But if I find the videos, he's talking about a show he's got going on, or an episode of a show, and he was talking about that a lot. He was kind of selling us on the what was the lure? It was called the Z2s. What were they called? They were called the Baby Z2s from Strike King. He was like selling those, pushing those hardcore. And, you know, granted, I'm sure they do work, but anything looks good in that pond. Like he was even saying, like, these guys are piranhas. I'm not discrediting anything. I'm sure those do really work, but it's just like, it's hard to know really, you know. But that was his go-to lure. So here's a little 40-second video we can kind of sit and watch.
Little dude right there, just that fast rate of fall ignites something in our largemouth and smallmouth that I have never seen before, okay? But before we talk about it, by the way, we'll do question and answer here in a little bit.
So what he's talking about is the Baby Z2s on the fall. So he likes to do... he typically has nothing less than, I can't remember the temperature style, but he was talking about temperatures, like once it gets below 45, like then he switches things up. But basically he's saying, like, on the Baby Z2s falling, he doesn't usually typically have anything less than a half an ounce. Half an ounce is kind of like where he's at on weight.
Whoever has the best question tonight is going to get a really cool prize. All right, stay with me.
And he gave away the reel and rod combo that he's holding onto to a kid next to us, which was pretty cool.
Me on that, but it's got to be the best question. It could be anything. We could talk about what the Bears are going to do with Justin Fields, or not what they're going to do. See, I'm kind of trapped in the world of losers right now. Okay, we're not in the playoffs, young man. We'll go on that for a while.
Talk about the Bears. The Bears. Oh, we want to get to the next video. Come on. What's it doing? I don't want to see it. That's not it. Here we go.
But it's got a lot of fish, okay?
ABC.
A ton of fish. And I went out, saw not catch them, caught like 2 or 3. But this time of year, they get grouped up. They get in winter holes, right? And they want to be around bluegill. Plumes of 1 to 3 inch bluegill, okay? So I'm going along, and I'll never forget this. Karen called me, my wife right there. It's her birthday, by the way. Who doesn't go to a fishing show on her birthday? I don't know that you need to clap for that, in all honesty. But thank you. So Karen called me, and I was on the lake, and it wasn't happening. I fired this out. It was this exact rig, okay? Fired it out. And I was talking to her, and I don't know what we were talking about. I was talking about what we're doing for dinner or something like that. And hung up, and my rod goes, boom, got me, right? Water temp was 37.3 degrees. In my hyperactivity, I was fishing it too fast.
So he's talking about cold weather. I mean, this was pretty not common sense, I would say, because that sounds kind of insulting, but like it was talking about, like, you know, colder water, you have to move slower, you know, and he's talking about how he's very hyper and hyperactive, and so with a lot of lures that you kind of rest, like he would talk about like Senko worms and stuff like that, or like minnows that he's using. You would look at other boats that were using the same thing, but they would be like, you know, letting it sit there and then just kind of do like a little up and then let it sit there. And then, but for him, he would do like a really quick, like, movement, and he was catching fish. And then he'd be like, oh, maybe that was just a lucky one, blah, 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 when he was younger. But now he's talking about when it was colder and he was talking on the phone and to his wife. And all of a sudden, like, he let it sit there for a minute or so. And then he hung up. And as soon as he picked it up, he got hit. So he's basically talking about really just trying to get the patience to be able to, like, have a lure be out for like 3 minutes. Like I think that's what he's going to get to.
Right? I took the bait, threw it back out, let it get to the bottom, They're not gonna let me do that. They're gonna bite it before then. And I just held my rod. Held it, held it, held it, and the rod goes. Her phone call was the best thing that happened that day, because after that, my buddy and I went on to catch about 40 to 60 every single day. Until this weather hit, it was that good. So I guess the one thing I'm talking about, whether it's a drop shot, whether it's a Ned rig, you could even apply this to throw in a tube or a jig. Warmer, faster, more action. Colder, slower, no action.
And that, to me, that was pretty, like, if you're even me, like, I, you know, again, I'm a novice. I'm, you know, just fully getting involved into this, and I've done enough research and, like, understood. And now, granted, I don't know if everybody else here in this audience knows that too, but I feel like if you're going to a fishing show, you most likely know that. But
my casts were taking between 3 to 5 minutes per cast.
so per cast, literally setting the worm down or whatever you were using and letting it just sit there. So, like, I think that's the hardest part for me to understand, like, leaving a lure on the bottom of the, or maybe like bringing it in, but like it takes you 5 minutes to bring it in to cast it again. And that is like one of the hardest things for me, because like I like jerk baits, I like the rattle traps, I like the lipless cranks rattle traps, I like the I like a lot of like fast-paced movement lures. And so like even with the Senko worm that I caught the 11.5 pound catfish on, I mean, I let it sit there, but that was tough. I didn't let it sit there very long. So,
and if you could get yourself to not move that bait, one would swim over and bite it, okay? The last thing I want to talk about with this is, and it's not a sales pitch, it's going to sound like it, but the rod I use for this is a Lew's Mark Zona Signature Series 7-foot rod, okay? You'll notice that rod's got a lot of tip on it, but it's got a pile of backbone, okay? The other thing, I use 10-pound braided line to a very long fluorocarbon leader, and whenever one of these fish in here bite this thing, if you notice, I never do a Bassmaster Elite Series hook set. Every single fish that has bit this in here, all you do is start reeling. Start reeling.
and so with that too, it's like, I feel like sometimes I hook set pretty aggressively. And yeah, he wasn't hook setting very aggressively. I mean, he was just reeling in. He would just, I mean, you do like a little, you know, because that's just innate, and you do like that. But yeah, he was basically just saying, like, with his line and his fluorocarbon leader, he doesn't even have to hook set. It just, because it's super tight.
Basically, what you're doing is you are setting the hook with the reel, okay? And it will pin every one of them. If you decide you want to look cool with your fishing partner and you want to start cracking the whip with that, bad things are going to happen. You are going to break the whip, okay? The biggest thing is when you feel resistance, even if it's weeds, just keep coming. If it lets loose, then it was a weed. If it don't let loose, you got them, okay? Let's do a couple questions real quick.
And so basically saying, like, on that kind of line, it's just going to snap. So you don't have to hook set. But, you know, he's talking again. He has on his line the Baby Z2, Baby Z2s from Striking. And I think I have one more picture of just more custom lures. So this was from a what was it? I don't know can I make it full screen? I can't read it, but these were more custom lures. These were lures from somebody that they were making them their own. And they were like $2. And it just like, it was honestly a really cool experience. Again, something I've never been to. Again, I didn't know where I was going to go with this. Like, I didn't know if it was going to be fun. I didn't know if they're going to have a bunch of lures and stuff to buy. I didn't know if it was just literally just vendors to come talk to and kind of get like an idea of like boating stuff and all this stuff. But it was a lot of fun. And there's another one in February. I don't know if we're actually going to. It's not fishing, the Ultimate Fishing Show, but it's like a outdoorsy show, and there's going to be fishing stuff there too. And we were joking about going. Do I think we're actually going to go? Probably not. But let me get you guys close. Get rid of that. But I will say, I will say, like, it's something that I won't discredit again, because I do think I'll be going again. And I do think, because now again, you're paying for ticket, you're paying for parking. But to get this for $5, this goes for 10, to get this for $4, this goes for like $8 or $9 to $10. This is a 3/8 ounce cross-eyed chatterbait. So I mean, it's just like there was some really good stuff there. Really unique. It kind of reminds me of just like going through a bucket of just extra stuff, and you're just kind of sorting through it, looking for what you are looking for. Like with these, with the chatterbaits, I saw them and I was like, you know what? I want to get in. I have a white one, but I wanted to get one that had a little bit of color to it. So this had a little bit of smoke on the top. And I saw this one. And so this is the fire craw. And I feel like these are meant to not to just be pulled through the water. They're actually supposed to go through weeds and things like that. So these might be really good in the pond that I always fish, that I've caught my 3-pound bass in, my 11.5-pound catfish in. I think those might be really good once spring starts up. So I got some more spring lures for us. But I think I do think, like, with shows like this, you'll find unique stuff. I found, again, a ton of gold-plated lures, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend going to it. If it goes into your area, it's $12, 10 for parking, at least for my area. But it was a really good time, and it was kind of just cool to explore and see all of the stuff. There's just so much of it. So again, guys, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you guys enjoy these vlogs, let me know in the comments down below. And I will hopefully see you soon, and I will hopefully let you guys know that we didn't lose power. It'll be great, that will just make our day, because we really don't want to lose power. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.